Hey everybody, this is Wendy Ponomarenko. I'm the librarian and art teacher here at Temple Emanu-El. And as part of the ongoing library project, I've been reading a book a night and recording it and putting it up on the Temple Facebook page so that we can bring our library resources to our families during this time of need. And tonight's book is called Yosef's Dream. This book is about the Jews of Ethiopia and them being able to come to Israel, their trip to Israel. Hope you enjoy. This is Yosef's Dream by Sylvia Rouss with Ambassador Asher Naim of Israel and illustrated by Tamar Blumenfeld. The western wall glints in the early morning Jerusalem sunlight. We watch proudly as my younger brother Jacob chants the Hebrew prayers. Today is his bar mitzvah, and he is becoming a man. It is a long time since we left our small African village. I was just a boy. I still remember the tall mountains, flowing rivers, and wide plains that were also home to baboons, hippos, and herds of zebra. My people had lived in Ethiopia for thousands of years, but we were still seen as strangers, for we were Jewish and different. For a long time, we thought we were the only Jews left in the world. It was only when my great-grandfather was a boy that we learned that others like us lived in faraway places, like Israel. Every Shabbat and Holy Day, when we gathered in our synagogue to listen to our rabbi, we prayed to return to the land of our ancestors. In the evenings, my family would gather outside our small hut and eat together. My father and mother, my sister and brother, and me. We loved Friday nights the best. My mother would make the spicy meat stew that my father loved best, and we'd laugh and joke while sitting around the fire. Later, as we lay on our mats, we listened to stories our parents told us of long ago as the stars shone their light through the open doorway. Suddenly, I'm a young boy again. It's morning, and my mother's saying, "Yosef, wake up!" I squirm as she tickles my bare feet. "An important visitor is coming to school today. You must not be late." A visitor? Yawning, I get up and dress quickly. I can smell the injera bread my sister Minya is baking outside. Minya is a big help to my mother. Besides cooking, she also weaves the baskets and makes the pottery that my family sells in the market. As I look at my mother's rounded belly, I know that she will soon rely on my sister even more. Outside, I reach for a piece of the warm, spongy bread. Minya snatches it away. "You haven't brushed your teeth," she scolds. I grab a twig and scrape it across my teeth. Satisfied, Minya gives me the bread. I can't wait for the baby to come. Then I will no longer be the youngest. I quickly swallow the last bite of bread and pick up the basket of food to take to my father and brother working in the fields. I race to where Ezra is herding our sheep when suddenly, I fall into a deep hole. I can't climb out. The sides are too steep. I call for help, but no one answers. What can I do? I gaze up at the clouds overhead, and then I must have fallen asleep, for Gazelle is peering down into the hole. "Yosef," she bleats, "hold on to my horns and I'll pull you out. If you jump onto my back, I'll take you to the tops of tall mountains so you can see far off places. Each day we'll find new mountains to climb." Her soft voice is interrupted by Hyena's snarl. "No," he barks. "Grab hold of my tail, Yosef. Together we'll hide in the shadows and feed off the scraps of others. One place is much like another." All of a sudden, big flapping wings brush Hyena aside. Eagle, with his great yellow eyes and hooked beak, stares down at me. "Yosef, pull yourself out," he cries. "You can do it if you try. Catch hold of my wings and we'll fly to your new home, far, far away. Hurry, we haven't much time. Wake up, Yosef!" I open my eyes to find Ezra looking down at me. "Yosef, are you hurt?" he shouts. "I've been calling and calling you. Here, take my hand." "I can climb out on my own," I say. I find a small toehold and brace myself, then grab onto clumps of grass and slowly pull myself up. "Ezra," I say breathlessly at the top, "I had a dream. Eagle spoke to me." But Ezra isn't listening. He takes some food and then says, "Hurry and take the rest to Father." I run to where Father is plowing. "Father, I'm late. I'm sorry I'm late. I fell into a hole and I couldn't get out. And then I had a strange dream. Would you like to hear it?" "Later," he smiles. "Run off to school now." I hug him and race across the fields. When I arrive at school, everyone is gathered around a stranger. My friend Desta whispers, "He's Mr. Ambassador. He came all the way from Israel to talk to us." Mr. Ambassador tells us something we can't believe. "Israel is offering all of you a home," he says. "If you want, you can return to the land God gave to the Jews." "If we want? Of course we do!" An elder boy says, "Our legend says that one day we will return to Israel on the wings of eagles." "Just like my dream!" I exclaim. This time everyone listens. When I finish, Mr. Ambassador asks, "Have you heard of Joseph?" "Of course," I nod. "He was a young Hebrew boy who saw the future in his dreams." "Yes," Mr. Ambassador smiles, "and perhaps, like that Joseph, your dream will come true." On my way home from school, I search the sky for eagles. I see none. But I will look again tomorrow. When I reach our hut, men are gathered around my father. "Soon we'll leave for Jerusalem," one man says excitedly. "Oh, I don't believe it'll happen," says another. "Why not?" asks the third man. "You heard the ambassador." My father frowns. "Our government will never let us go. And anyway," he adds, looking at me, "your mother will soon give birth. How can we go?" Over the next weeks, the villagers prepare for the big trip, hoping it will happen soon. But we do nothing. One day, Minya shows my father the new basket she's woven. "If we decide to go to Israel, we can pack our belongings in it," she says, smiling. "Your mother can't travel now," my father replies. "I'm sorry." My mother looks up from her weaving, then says softly, "Please, don't deny our children the chance of a better life in our promised land." "Are you sure you can make the trip?" my father asks. When my mother nods, his face fills with pride. Then we shall go." One week later, Mr. Ambassador sent us a message that Israel has reached an agreement with the Ethiopian government. "We can leave, but it must be today! Today!" My mother quickly packs our belongings, and we put on our fine Shabbat clothes. But before we say goodbye to our home, my father hands each of us a new pair of shoes, saying, "I traded the sheep for these." Soon, big long buses come, and we all crowd aboard. We travel nearly all day. Finally, we stop in a huge open field. The sun is setting when I hear the sky roaring and see an enormous winged bird. "An eagle!" I shout as the bird swoops down. "Look!" "No, Yosef, that's an airplane," my father says, smiling. But I know it's the eagle from my dream. Soon more eagles arrive. Hundreds of us line up to climb into the bellies of giant birds. High up in the sky, my mother clutches her stomach. "It's time," she whispers to my father. And there, inside the eagle, my mother gives birth to Jacob, my new baby brother. Today, 13 years later, we live in the south of Israel. My father works on a farm near our home. Ezra, who always had a way with animals, is now a veterinarian. And Minya, with my mother, owns a small shop selling baskets and pottery. As for me, I love this land and its language. I'm studying to be a writer. But today, we're celebrating. My brother Jacob's bar mitzvah speech is about that dream I had so long ago. He stands tall as he looks at us and says, "My brother Joseph's dream was about making a choice. If we had gone with Gazelle, My family could have traveled to other countries, never settling anywhere. Had we stayed with Hyena, we would still be living as outcasts in Ethiopia. But we chose to fly with Eagle, and after nearly 3,000 years of exile, we've returned to Israel, our true home. The end. Now, this book is an immigrant story of a group leaving the land that they were familiar with and Aliyah and going up to Israel. Now, this one is unique though in that the Ethiopian Jews were very isolated. They had been in Ethiopia for around 3,000 years, and they actually up until relatively recently thought they were the last Jews in the world. They really were so isolated they had no idea that there were Jews that lived in other places. And it was actually an interesting operation that brought 14,000 Ethiopian Jews to Israel in a 36-hour time period. Like, boom, this is going to happen. It's going to happen right now. If you're going to go, you're going to go. You're going to go now. And Ambassador Asher Naim, who was the Israeli ambassador to Ethiopia, he arranged this. But once he got permission, like that was it. You have to go now. Over 36 hours, they literally took like all the seats out of the planes just so they could fit as many people as possible onto these planes. 7 babies were born on this trip, and yeah, it was in May of 1991 that they did this. It was a really exciting, very very wonderful rescue mission that they managed to do. In fact, the mission was called Operation Solomon. So yeah, the Israeli government worked this out with the Ethiopian government, with their ambassador, and they managed to move 14,000 Ethiopian Jews to Israel in a 36-hour time period. So that's about a day and a half. It was very exciting and super influential, and it brought an amazing population to Israel, to the homeland. So yeah, this is a really cool book. I don't think we really have any other ones about the Ethiopian Jews in our library. So this one, kids section, grown-up section, whatever, I think this is the only book we actually have on this. So yeah, you can find this in the easy fiction section, and I definitely recommend you getting a chance to check it out when you can. Have a good night.